Have you guys ever noticed that it seems like there's this pattern where people will often make these YouTubes that kind of start like this? Hey guys, this is a video I never thought I would have to make, but well, here we are. Well, here we are. And actually, joking aside, there is something that we have been hiding from you guys for a couple of weeks, and I do need to talk about it. And specifically, the thing that I need to talk about are the new people who are actually here living at our farm. And in today's video, I want to introduce you to them and explain what's going on.
Good morning, neighbors.
What's happening?
Oh, just sitting out and enjoying this beautiful day. Loving on a crazy dog, drinking coffee.
Hey, Arizona, I know you're going to want to jump up on me all over the place. Hey, what's going on? Well, you ready to do some farm chores today?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, I have my friend Paul here with me.
My name's Paul, born and raised in Indiana. Met my lovely wife, Olivia, and here we are.
Paul and Olivia and their kids have been camping out here on the farm for, what, about the last week?
Probably close to 2 weeks now. First week was such a blur, such a train wreck of a few days.
And we will explain why they are camping here, but first we got to say hi to the welcome guard. Hey guys, Toby, you can go first, come on.
You're such a good boy.
Yeah, this is the usual process we go through whenever folks are coming into the yard and I'm introducing them to the dog, so everybody can get settled. Abby, you can come now, come on. Say hey.
Oh, you are a spitfire.
Just watch your head.
Don't get shocked.
Yeah, you don't want to get shocked on that.
Seen that.
Ah! So Paul, you guys have been traveling now on the road for how long?
Officially started full-time travel in December. We did a couple trial runs before we fully hit the road. And being from Indiana, it got cold fast. I'm sure it was colder here, but we drove as fast as we could to get down south. And then we've kind of worked our way down and then back up the East Coast up to here.
Now Abby's made a new friend. She's always nervous when she sees somebody, then she like warms up really quick and then she can't get enough. For the last, what now, I guess 8 months or so, 2 adults and 2 children under the age of 4 living together in a camper and going from farm to farm.
We farmed for 6 years. We did regenerative practices, and then when we got burnt out and decided to sell, we decided that we would travel full-time, do this. We just wanted to tell the small farmer story because we feel like the farmer's always the one getting the bad rap. But what we've come to realize is it's more about our story and wanting to settle down again.
So you're ultimately looking for that place that you want to kind of land at.
Yeah, so we call it like our dream sheet, you know, that's a military thing. It's our dream sheet where we're gonna end up. And what we've found just going down and up the East Coast, kind of racked and stacked everywhere we've gone. Some places aren't even gonna be on that list, Florida, or, you know, some places have been very surprising like Vermont, New Hampshire. So we are gonna settle down for sure. Again, at some point, I don't know if that'll be in 3 months or if that'll be in 36 months. We'd like to go to all 50 states, but we're staying a month at a time. So we'll see how that goes.
Good morning, little guys. How's everybody doing? The chicks are getting so big. Actually, if you look at their wings right now, you can just see the tiniest of little feathers just starting to form. And probably within about 3 or 4 days, they're gonna have way more. And as I'm looking at this little one here, I'm seeing his comb. He might be actually a rooster. And now admittedly, this is all just speculation, but we might have ourselves a little rooster guy here. All right, back with your brothers and sisters. Yeah, I'm probably not spending enough time in here, so they get a little scared and they run in the corner when the big giant walks in, but they're all doing good. They're all really healthy. I think I've sold pretty much all the ones I'm gonna sell, and so these will be the batch that I basically raise up. So they need more water, they need more food, but I think they're finally old enough to have their food hanging, so we're gonna set that up right now. Curious to see how they figure it out. I'm gonna still leave the shavings a little high so they don't have to jump too much, but eventually they'll learn how to do it and I'll keep raising it up just a little bit higher. The reason I do this is because I don't want the chips to necessarily get in their food and waste a bunch of their food. And so having it suspended like this is just more efficient. Some people will use like those little trays when they're really young, but for baby chicks, for the most part, especially when I have a bunch of them, I just like to train them out in these feeders right out of the gate. As you guys are out there and looking at different farms, what are some of the types of farms that you've gone to so far?
Well, Olivia read this book and then that got me reading it. It was the idea that there's all kinds of different farms, you know, vegetable, meat, goose, like a whole gamut. Like it was almost like a list. So that like hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, there's so many farms I had no idea about. Those are the kinds of farms that I want to see. And so like we've made it like almost a documentary, calling it the New American Farmer. So who are people trying to feed people are the ones we want. We want to keep everyone a seat at the table, even though we might not agree with everyone's practices. I might not agree with every farmer that we visit, or Olivia, because I'm the backdrop here, but I might not agree with them, but at the same time, that's their story, that's their message, that's what they're doing. We want everyone to have a seat at the table. We're still missing, you know, corn and soybean. Going back to Indiana, that feels like an easy layup, but we'll see. Most of those guys are kind of close-lipped anyway, so.
From a geographic standpoint, where have you guys been?
We started a trial run in Michigan with this concept of visiting farms, talking to people. That worked. So then it was like, we have concept, let's quit our stable life and go. Like I said, we've scooted down as quick as we could to the south, stopped in Tennessee. We basically stayed down there for about 6 weeks. We knew we wanted to be up here in the summer. We joke we're chasing 70 degrees. I don't know how true that really is. It's not exactly 70, it's like 80, 90, but
I think it's gonna be like 75 today, so
yeah.
you're right in that zone.
Right there. Basically, we've worked our way up the East Coast, stopping for about 30 days. So Mississippi, but then that crossed off Louisiana, Alabama, and then Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, which Georgia also got us South Carolina. And then we've literally just kind of jumped up and up. We got a little wonky getting up here. We did like Connecticut, then upstate New York, then here. And then after we leave here, we'll go back to Indiana. We'll stay there for a little bit, and then we're trying to go back out after that. So.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna go do some birds next, so let's do it. Oh boy, we're entering into the bird habitats. What are you ducks doing down over here, wandering? Nobody better be messing with my catnip. You can see Lavender Brown with her kids, and then you can see Jerk Duck with her kids. I'm gonna release them very soon. Like, I think even part of the reason why the ducks are over here right now is that they're all communicating with Jerk Duck, and Jerk Duck's feeling a little left out that she can't go hang out with the other ducks. And so, as her little ones get just a little bit bigger and a little bit more featherier, I'll let them all go and they will rejoin the quacking out back here. Rise and grind, Deb and kids. How's it going, Deb? You never let me pet you. That one is like the spitting image of Deb. This one's a barred rock. The other three look kind of like black australorps. They're all gonna spend their time together until the fall, living inside that coop. Right now, I still have this unelectrified poultry netting set up just as a way to keep them in one area for a little while. It's more to train them to the coop and make sure that they don't confuse anywhere else other than the weird chicken coop as their home. But pretty soon, I'll take down the netting and they can kind of just roam wherever they want. When the cold weather eventually comes, I will actually have them rejoin the rest of our flock. Much like the other boys, I'll probably take any of the boys that she has and put them in the freezer. Then the ladies will be part of the laying flock for next year. So what would you say are some of the coolest farms you've seen so far?
Man, I feel like there's been so many. We've done the big guys that most people have heard: Will Harris, Joel Salatin, Oregon Gold. I
think there's gonna be a link at the end of this video if you want to see. Not in that category though, not in that category.
But there's been so many. One of my favorite ones is this farmer named Jesse in Florida. He's like 83, 86 years old. I mean, he's been doing it for over 40 years regeneratively. Didn't know that was even a term. That's just the way he wanted to raise his cows. So he was just full of that your old man wisdom. Everyone's got their own unique story. I've learned something from every single farm that I know we can take to our future farm, homestead, whatever that ends up being.
Yeah, I can imagine it's kind of like getting a master's in regenerative farming.
It is.
Going from place to place and seeing kind of all the different methods.
And then leaving here, we'll be close to 100. So that's going to be pretty incredible. My dream goal when we set out was 100 farms. I wanted to see 100 farms before we decided anything. And to hit that in what, you said 8 months, feels unreal.
Right. All right, let's swap out the duck water. You can dump and then pump. Yeah.
Feels like
the dump part's pretty self-explanatory. The pump part though is you'll see our water spigots right over there.
Yeah.
And you can just plug the hose in and it'll be ready to go. You gotta just push it down. Boom, you got it.
Like that.
Yeah, once you get the touch for those things, you'll never want to do water any other way.
We put those hydrants in everywhere and we dug all that line, and I would never, ever, ever do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for us, it's almost impossible to dig the line because between here and even the yard hydrant that we have back over there, you're probably encountering a mountain's worth of granite in between it. And so you got to dig so deep to get below the frost line.
Right.
Hence the above water system that you only really use like 3 seasons of the year.
I feel like that's another thing is we've learned so much, and I thought after 6 years, 7 years, whatever it ended up being, we farmed, I thought I had all the answers. I didn't know anything. I mean, I feel like everyone's out here or generally farming trying to learn things, and we're all doing it just like a little bit different. Like, doesn't matter how far, how close you are from each other, systems apply might not work in your area versus like we had 4 hydrants and we would drag 200 to 300 feet of hose to water our animals versus like a system like this, I could have saved my back.
Look, man, we all start out as hose draggers and bucket bringers. Like, it's just, I think, how it has to go. And then, like, you start to figure out, like, what do you need? And then from there, it gets easier.
It is crazy, though, things you learn from seeing other people.
Belinda Carlisle, you're not where you're supposed to be. What are you doing? Come on. That's cows for you. All right, we're gonna have to get these guys in. Rather than build the next line, which we're gonna do first, we'll take that fence line, push this out a little bit to make kind of a gate for them. Actually, I don't want them to run out. Let's see if we can coax. Actually, that might be better, and then open it up. Come on, guys, let's go. Amanda? Belinda? Come on. Come on, Amanda. Come on. Let's go, Belinda. Back in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Up. Yeah, Belinda, you go in the naughty box. And I know you guys want more food, and you'll get it in just a moment. And Amanda, we shouldn't be rewarding your bad behavior, but here we are. So Paul was just telling me one of the fence posts over here got knocked down, and so I think that's how the jailbreak happened last night. Hey, Kels! Come on, Kels! Fresh grass, come on! So I think the cattle just got spooked when Paul was coming back up, so they ran this way. You know, Paul's a good guy, and he's worked with cattle before, but anytime cattle see like a new person, they can often act a little weirder than they usually do. Like, they definitely recognize the difference between, say, me and a lot of other people. It's just something I've noticed, which I think before I started a farm, I would have never expected that to be an actual thing, but cattle definitely recognize people. So Bonnie McMurray actually escaped too. Paul had to try to coax her down this way. Back in with everybody else. Come on. Thank you. Cows. What are you gonna do? So Paul, doing all of this and having the wet jeans, does this make you actually miss doing real farming?
I would say probably about 1,000%. I think when I moved chicken tractors for Jordan Green that day was the itch, but now I'm like, do we really need to keep going? But yeah, I miss it a lot.
Now, Olivia, can you tell me the story of how you actually ended up physically here in this spot?
That's an eye roll. So we knew we had friends up here, like you, right? So when we decided that we wanted to come up here, we were trying to find campgrounds, and we didn't realize that, especially in the Northeast, campgrounds get booked up like a year or two in advance. I think that's more of a post-COVID thing, but I mean, really, we had a hard time finding a campground. So we were going to take our trip from New York to Vermont in 1 6-hour day, which usually turns into like 8 to 10 with kids and a camper. And we were like, you know what, last minute, let's just stop at a Harvest Host. That's a farm that we can stay at, and we can stay there for the night, drive like 3 to 4 hours there, and then maybe we can do a tour with them too, and then we'll drive the next 3 to 4 hours to Vermont. So we did that. We get to the farm. We barely make it to the farm before a tornado runs through. Winds blowing, trees are down. The farm doesn't have power. They have a generator. We plugged in. We were fine. We were just trying to stay out of their hair because they were trying to clean up the mess. And then when we go to leave, we didn't take the turn right, and we ended up clipping one of their greenhouses with our camper. So we punched 3 holes into the side of our camper. Thankfully, it didn't go all the way through, but it's just one of those like fist punch moments where you're like, damn, okay. So we move on, we get out of there, it's pouring rain, and we're heading up here. Well, with all of the recent flooding, there were roads that were out. So we finally make it to Vermont, to the campground, and we bottomed out 4 times.
And it was hit by the flood too.
So I called you in a panic, not realizing you'd been up for like 48 hours helping clean up the town. Had no idea about that, but I was just like, we just need a place to stay for tonight. Can we come? And you're like right now. I'm like, yes, like right now. Can we please just have a safe place to stay? So we were running on E. I knew we wouldn't be able to just like pull into a truck stop and like sit there. So you amazingly said yes, and we're so thankful for that. So we get here and just Paul shuts off the truck in the middle of your driveway, and we get out and you're like, how are you guys? And we're like, got any beer? We are so grateful and thankful for you letting us shack up here.
I mean, it's actually been fun having you guys kind of camped out. I mean, it works. You know, it seems like over the years I've known a number of friends like you guys who have, you know, with their family in an RV or in a trailer, traveled the country and like kind of been looking to figure out where they're going to end up next and just kind of searching for that place to kind of plunk down new roots. Why do you guys think that is? Like, especially in this day and age.
The farm we lived in Indiana was not our forever farm. I joked I thought I was dying in that house. Big misconception. We were trying to make the farm into something it wasn't. So I think for us, we're going out searching for that land that is what we want it to be. And I think now, after farming for a little bit, failing, however, if you want to look at it that way, I think it's just like a fresh start for us. You can always look for something else. Maybe happiness is somewhere else. Maybe if we go around and we're like, man, Indiana is probably where it could be. I don't think so at all. At all.
Sure.
I think it's just for us finding somewhere that we can do the things to the land that what are more mindset for.
As far as what everybody else is looking for, I think that we're realizing that we don't have to be tied down in the same small town we grew up in. I mean, he did that right away. He went out into the military, he studied abroad. I stayed in the same cornfield, and I went to college, but it was like 2 hours away. So really, for me, that was a shell shock. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh,
corn.
Yeah, it was just different corn. Like, it was the same cornfield. It was just with the different corner. For me, I'm like, I want to explore. I want to learn about different, not just cultures, but groups of people, and how, you know, like up here, how the houses are tied to the barns. Like, that's really interesting to me. Down south, how the window placements are different. I really enjoy learning those things, and I think a lot of people see that we don't have to be in the same way it always was. We can see what other people are doing.
Maybe if you look back 150 years ago, right? Kind of westward expansion and people going west was definitely a thing, and now that there's no more west to go, it's, you know, heading back east. Like, right. It becomes a different direction for folks who are just, I guess, kind of still looking to find your place.
And I think it might be a little philosophical, but I think people as in general, like the humans, have always been nomadic. It's just we've been locked down, and I think that a lot of people are interested in, maybe we don't have to be so locked down. Maybe we can just travel and move and be more fluid.
Like when you say, all right, we want to end up in a place and we're thinking of like our dream setup and kind of where you want to go, what's the wish list? Like, what are all the things you want?
Mountains.
Cows with a view.
Cows with a views are always been our joke. There's been states that have been added to our list too. Places like here where I never would have guessed that. I didn't know what I expected Vermont to look like, but it wasn't like this. I promise you that. Now, obviously, we're in the nice summer day, sunny and 75, but you know, February is different than this right now. So I don't know what that would look like. Wherever we do decide, I truly think we'll pick the spot, find some towns that we are truly interested in being part of that community, because that's everything for us. And then we'll probably try and look for property from there, whether that's renting or buying, whatever our finances will let us do.
But until then, you guys are just kind of having fun?
Yeah.
Trying to be present in the moment. That's something that we're really trying to focus on. Is, you know, everybody has future goals, but it's more about being within the moment, especially with small kids. I mean, Lincoln's 4, Sydney's almost 2. And I think it's important for us to be in the day to day and not just be focusing so hard on 6 months from now, 5 years from now, 50 years from now, whatever it might be, but just being in today.